Since GoPro had left a comment on my last video about a firmware fix for the horizontal leveling glitch, figured I'd see if this new 1.16 actually had a fix for that. So I set the GoPro to the same settings that was given an issue in the last video and see if it helps. And it doesn't fix the issue. It's still not holding a horizontal level. But it's not jumping as quickly or doing all the bouncing that it was before. It still has a couple little glitches here and there. So my first thought was that the GoPro just can't handle horizontal leveling at 5.3K. Maybe there's not enough wiggle room in the sensor for it to actually be able to level the horizon. These rear view shots that you see are actually my GoPro Hero 9 that I mounted on the back rail. But you'll see that the GoPro just can't keep the horizon level. And I'm definitely not going past 45 degrees. I'm not on a crotch rocket or going really fast or anything like that, so there really isn't any reason why it shouldn't be able to do that. So what I figured I'd try in the last test, I had 4K 60p, and then the difference was I set it to boost for this image stabilization. So I figured I'd try the same thing with it set it to boost, and the thing that I noticed is that it actually did keep the horizon level. There was a couple little glitches like you saw there, but it is keeping the horizon level, unlike it would do when the Hypersmooth is set to just standard. So I think what's happening is when you set it to boost, it actually crops in a little bit more on the sensor, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's giving it the wiggle room needed to actually keep the horizon level at that high of a resolution. One of the other tests that I tried was to set the 4K 60p and then set it to standard to see if it did the same thing that it does at 5.3. But in the 4K, even just at the Hypersmooth standard, it is keeping the horizon level, and it's doing a pretty good job. So again, I think it's just 5.3K with the standard Hypersmooth isn't giving the sensor wiggle room enough to actually keep the horizon level, and that's what's causing the it having to actually tilt the horizon and the kind of glitches that you see. So for this section, I figured I'd just do a little cruise through the campground in Palomar Mountain. It's actually really beautiful up there right now with the leaves turning colors and some of the winter trees staying green. So it's a really cool drive through the campground, and I'll just basically shut up and let you enjoy the ride. So this is on the way back down Palomar Mountain. This has to be one of my favorite stretches. The wide setting of the GoPro really kind of mellows out the curves here, but if you've ever ridden this section, it's probably one of the most fun curvy sections of going down on S6. I've been playing around a little bit with different ways to mount and different places to mount the GoPro. So as you saw earlier, I had the butt cam, and then basically I swung it around and just made it a rear facing cam. So this one's mounted in the same position and just facing rear, and I think it's kind of a cool angle that has the luggage rack option that you can get for the Triumph Scrambler. So that's about it for this video. So it looks like, I don't know if the issue wasn't fixed or it's just the fact that that's kind of a limitation of the GoPro. Again, and when you're not cropped in on the sensor that much at 5.3K, I just don't know if it can actually handle leveling the horizon. So, which honestly isn't an issue for me. All the other resolutions can handle it. And the 5.3 with Hyper Smooth on, which crops in a little bit on the sensor, actually didn't do that bad. The turns on the S6 on Palomar Mountain are pretty radical, pretty extreme. So I think it'll do a good job in pretty much any scenario. And I really don't have an issue if it never gets fixed. I'll just make sure to use a different resolution or use the Hyper Smooth on boost so it crops in a little bit. No big deal.